Hello. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about the Grammys and what I thought about it. I'm a big fan of music, as evident by my Instagram page, but I usually enjoy the Grammys, and I know some people think they're just boring in general, but I usually like the Grammys. I like, the collaborations, the tributes that they do to the producers and the songwriters and all these people who are like the Lifetime Achievement Hall of Fame or whatever. Um, but this particular year, I'm going to be honest, I thought it was pretty boring, for the most part. And I think the main reason was the performances themselves, which is one of the main reasons why people watch the Grammys. If you look at the performances, in my opinion, as a group, the performances were kind of dry and slow. And it's not to say that all the performances were bad. I liked Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett. I liked Madonna. I liked Pharrell. I liked Hauser and Annie Lennox. They were amazing. And I even liked the guy from Colombia. I can't remember his name. It starts with an H, but he was in the middle of the arena performing, and he had these lights over his head that looks like an Olive Garden. Like, okay, when you go to the Olive Garden and you look up and you see these really nice lights in the ceiling? Well, they went to a couple of Olive Gardens, like snatched them from the rafters, and they like put them over his head, and he was performing. So he looked like he was in an Olive Garden. All you needed was like the never-ending pasta and the stuff. But it was a nice Olive Garden, like one of the ones downtown. But the point is, he killed in the Olive Garden. And the other performances that I didn't name, it's not to say that they were garbage and that the people who were singing were garbage, because they did a good job. The production work was nice on everything, and it looked nice. I just thought as a group they were dry, and they should have balanced out some performances, or maybe some more upbeat ones, and it probably would have been better. Also, another thing that they did this year, which I thought was kind of interesting, was they did something that I call the Tyler Perry bait and switch, where you go and wait, I want to be clear. I'm not hating on Tyler Perry, okay? But if you have noticed the way that he promotes his movies, this is true. He promotes his movies, not all of his movies. He promotes a number of his movies with the impression, and he gives you the impression that you're going to see one thing and you go and see another. So you go to the Tyler Perry movie thinking that you're going to see this lighthearted comedy about Madea going to jail or Madea doing something. And when you go into the movie and you start watching the movie and you start to get Madea, but then all of a sudden this woman appears who was pimped out by her mother, raped by her father, pregnant by her uncle. She sells her body to feed her crack baby. She has cancer. She has AIDS. She has Ebola. She can't read. And she needs to make up with her abusive grandmother before the end of the movie. And you're like, I just came to see a damn comedy. But that's how a number of his films have been promoted. I get why he does it. I'm not saying don't do it. I get why he promotes it that way. But the Grammys did this weird thing where, you were in the middle of the show. You were just watching, and out of nowhere, the president is there. And you're like, oh, it's the president. Huh. Okay. I guess domestic violence is important to talk about. I'm not really here for that. Oh, who's that on stage? I don't know her. Is she a singer? Does she sing? Is she in a movie? Wait, what is she saying? Oh. So it was like that in like the middle of the Grammys. But that was pretty much the show. The awards themselves, I don't feel like people didn't deserve what they got. I think Sam Smith was amazing. He's very talented. He had a really big year, so I understand why he got what he got. I guess the big surprise for me was Beyonce not getting Album of the Year. I thought that I would have given that to her for a number of reasons. I would have given it to her because, it was a really, really good. Probably the best R&B album, definitely, that came out last year. And, you know, Beyonce as an artist, she's been around for a long time now. And she has had better songs on her other work that are better than some of the songs on this album. But as a body of work, this is her best. And it was critically acclaimed. And the way she rolled that thing out was innovative. And so if you're talking about, you know, critically acclaimed music, it was. If you're talking about impact on the industry, it was. I think people are going to look at how they promote albums now, and especially the way she had that, the way she did those sales. I mean, you know, like she said, she made the world stop. And I'll carry on. But that's not to say that Beck was undeserving. I actually think Beck is a really good artist, you know, and it's not that, so Beyonce didn't lose to garbage. She didn't lose to somebody who was just like a straight trash and didn't put out any good music. Beck has been around for like the early 90s, like the early 90s. And you know what? If you didn't notice, he looks exactly the same way. I'm convinced that him, Pharrell, Gwen Stefani, and probably some other people that don't come to mind, I'm convinced that they either went to see Lisa from Death Becomes Her with her potion. You know, drink this potion and you will live forever. You know, that lady. I'm convinced they either saw her, or, you know, maybe they do some shit like the Queen did in Snow White and the Huntsman, and maybe once a year they just feast on the soul of a virgin to replenish themselves, because there's no way that they just freeze and don't age like that. I think that's beyond Botox. I think they're into some supernatural shit that we are not even prepared for. You know, live forever. You know. But anyway, so that was the show, and I guess the other big controversy is the whole Beyonce doing the song from Selma. You know, how people say that she stole that song from Ledisi. First of all, that's not even Ledisi's song. Mahalia Jackson did it first, and I'm not even convinced, now that I think about it, that Mahalia Jackson even owns that song. You know, I'm pretty sure somebody will educate me on it. I don't really know the history, but I'm pretty sure Mahalia Jackson didn't start that song. If she did, okay. But, you know, she definitely was the first person to make it famous, but it's not Ledisi's song. So that's why, let's be clear, she didn't steal Ledisi's song. Ledisi made it famous from that movie. And I'm not convinced that, you know, Beyonce just woke up with the idea to do this. I actually think it was the Grammys. The people at the Grammys. I think because Beyonce did songs from her album at the last show, they didn't want to do a repeat of songs from the same album for this show. So I think what happened was Beyonce had a big year, and they wanted her to perform. They usually want all the artists who are nominated for Artist of the Year to perform in some way, from what I've seen just watching the Grammys. So she couldn't necessarily do this one. But Selma, also, that song from Selma, Glory, also, Selma the movie and Glory in that song also had a big year too. And so they thought, maybe we can put Beyonce here. And they asked her, and Beyonce said yes. So I'm not really faulting Beyonce altogether, because let's be honest, if there was a song to steal from Ledisi, would it really have been that one? Come on, think about it. If you were going to the Grammys and you could steal any song from Ledisi, is that the one you would choose? Probably not. But I don't believe that, you know, Beyonce should be held solely responsible for that just because she was the one singing the song. But, you know, hey, it's always fun and funny to blame Beyonce for everything, isn't it? So let's start. I think Ledisi found out that she was replaced in this song the way LaToya and Latavia found out they were replaced in the Say My Name video. Can you imagine that? And I bet you it was one of those situations where, you ever have those situations with friends where, you know, everybody knows about this event or this thing everybody knows about this event that everybody's going to go to except that one friend, and nobody wants to tell that one friend that they're not invited, or you can't sit with us for this one thing. So everybody knows except that one friend. And when that friend finds out, it's like really awkward. So I'm pretty sure Ledisi was just minding her business at her house, and she just happened to be looking on the news, and they say they're going to be performing the song from Selma, and And Ledisi, you know, was probably like, I didn't know about, wait, I'm performing? I didn't know, wait, I didn't get anything from my, oh shit, I gotta go down there. And so she probably, you know, hastily started grabbing her clothes, grabbing her things, you know, grabbed her tea and her honey and her lemons so she could get down to the Staples Center for rehearsals. And, you know, she did it real quick because her Uber was gonna come in like 5 minutes, so she had to get her shit and get the fuck outside. And so while she's getting ready, you know, she's probably texting and calling Common, because I bet you know they knew, I know they knew. She was probably texting Common and John Legend like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. My team didn't tell me. You know, this is so unprofessional of me. And, you know, she's probably calling Common. Common ain't answering his phone. And, you know, they're down at the rehearsal. Like, did somebody tell Ledisi she wasn't going to be in this? Like, did somebody tell her? Did her manager? Because I don't think she knows. And, you know, somebody else comes in and is like, hey, are you getting these voice messages from Ledisi? Does she know? And by the time they figure out Ledisi's already down there, you know, signing into the to the rehearsal space, she's like, hi, yes, I'm Ledisi. I'm here for the rehearsal. Ledisi. Well, I should be on. Oh, it's probably like a surprise thing, so you probably don't have me on there, but I'm singing on the song. Yeah, if you could just tell me which rehearsal room they're in. And it's like, oh, wait, never mind. I see some. Common. You know, Common comes walking by. You know, walking in the hallway. Common, wait. And, you know, she goes following him, you know, and he's acting like he doesn't hear her. So he's walking really, really fast to get into the rehearsal space, and he closes the door behind him. And so, you know, she's probably standing outside the rehearsal door, like just knocking like this. Hello? It's me. It's Ledisi. Hello? And everybody's acting like they can't hear. You know, they start playing the music real loud, like, you know, they can't hear anything. And then, and, you know, I always have that poor, like, assistant who cracks the door open slightly as she's knocking. So it's like, hello. And she opens up the door and it's like, hey, what's up, Ledisi? How you doing? And Ledisi's like, I'm supposed to be, can I come in? I'm coming in. And so Ledisi barges her way in. And she sees Beyonce singing, like, and she knows she probably barged in right as Beyonce says, pressure. And Beyonce stops. And everybody looks at her. And it's like really awkward in the room. And Ledisi's probably still not realizing what's happening. It's probably like, oh, I'm so sorry. Beyonce, it's okay. You don't have to sing in my place. I'm just, you know, I didn't know. My team didn't tell me, you know, but I'm here now. Everything's fine. And so, and that's probably when it was like, and I'm pretty sure it was probably, you know, Common, because he probably kept it the most real. It's like, listen, Ledisi, I don't know how to say this, but, you know, I mean, your man, and then that's probably when Ledisi probably realized what he's about to say, and her face is like, and then Common goes, your manager, he was supposed to, and then Ledisi goes, love me. My manager was supposed to love me. It goes, dun, 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 and that's when her manager comes in, dun, dun, dun. There you are, Ledisi, I've been looking all over. I turn my back and find myself out on the line. You could have warned me, but that would have been too kind. I've been warning you for months. You're lying, I never been. Oh, wouldn't it be funny if that really happened? That would be hilarious, but let's be honest. Ledisi probably knew it was the Grammys. It was probably the Grammys' idea anyway. So she's fine. And at the end of the day, I actually think this is going to work out for Ledisi. I actually think this whole thing is probably going to have more people pay attention and notice and look and check out Ledisi's music, because now, you know, because the word has been going around that she's such a better singer, that people are going to be checking out for her music. So I actually think Ledisi will be able to flip this and work in her favor. You know, cause this time Ledisi's gonna win.